In 1348, the Black Death struck Florence with a speed and scale the city or the world had never experienced. Such a massive loss of life, the Black Death not only changed daily life, but the very structure and foundation of Florentine society. Extreme labor shortages, shifting or maybe more precise, dissolving of class barriers, new roles for women, and a surprising artistic movement inspired by the devastation. The Black Death dramatically transformed Florence's labor system, broke down rigid old-school class hierarchies, and helped inspire a cultural shift that paved the way for the Renaissance age. The legendary Florentine author Giovanni Boccaccio, who lived through the plague, described the city abandoned by horror. In Boccaccio's masterpiece, The Decameron, he writes, "One citizen avoided another. Relatives never or hardly ever visit each other." He continues to say, what is even worse and incredible is that the fathers and mothers abandoned their children as if they were never theirs. In Florence, fear for survival overwhelmed all human relations and social ties. The text captures how completely order was abolished and norms were not to be followed. However, as the old order collapsed, so too the blind trust and naivete. The Decameron beautifully shows how survivors later built something new through community, expression, and storytelling. People's way of thinking evolved into more independent thought. Historians today remind us that the Black Death was not just a local disease, it was a global pandemic. Monica H. Green explains in her work, Taking the Pandemic Seriously, Making the Black Death Global, how the plague traveled through Afro-Eurasian trade routes long before it arrived in Italy. That international route directly connected Florence, which was a major commercial hub. Once the disease reached the city, it did not have a chance against it. The Black Death made quick work with Florence's densely populated urban setting. Stopping its rapid pace and widespread reach was almost impossible. This shows how Florence was connected through major trade routes or pathways to the rest of Europe and beyond. This global connection is vital because once the city recovered, the innovative ideas born in Florence ended up spreading outwardly too. With so many laborers and artisans dead, Florence did not have enough workers to sustain its economy. David Herlihy highlights in his work, The Black Death and the Transformation of the West, how the once very difficult and rigid admissions to get into the guilds were now far more flexible, as craftsmen were desperately needed. Craftsmen suddenly had power they had never had before, turning the class system in Florence on its head.